Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about their favorite flicks from childhood or just flicks. I'm Sweetie with a Y.
And I'm Sweetie with an IE.
And it's Christmas. We already told you that last time. But hey, we did 2 movies. We did it. Our goal. We hit our goal.
I know. I was looking through our very short list of movies we did this year. And I think, because like usually at year's end, I post like a collage of all the movies we covered, and I think it's like maybe I don't even know if it's 20 this year. Like bad.
No.
Sucks, guys. We suck.
We're just like doing our best.
I know. And in my mind, I'm like, we're gonna do better next year. But are we?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Every year.
Yeah.
With another baby? I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Well, like I always said, I got a lot of time to watch movies, so maybe it will happen. Yeah, but I'm proud of ourselves that we were able to watch 2. Last year we only did 1.
I know. I just re-listened to that episode
2 years ago, or last couple of years we've only did
Prancer.
1. Yeah, and the year before that I thought we only did 1, The Christmas Story.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
I also just listened to that one too. Yeah.
We've been on just like one-hit wonders for the holiday season. So
yeah, you know,
just
keep them
us.
wanting more.
Yeah,
that's the technique. But so for the second movie, so somehow, somewhere, Sweetie picked both of these. I don't know how it happened, but she was just like, we're doing Rudolph and we're doing Ernest Saves Christmas. And I was like, wait, what? Because first of all, I remember distinctly saying that we would never do another Ernest movie ever again as long as I lived. And then 2, Jimmy hasn't even seen this one, so it's not like we were seeing it for Sweet-Eyed Jimmy.
I know, and he was still so excited and was so bummed.
But she was like really dead set on watching this one. Okay. So I was like, ugh, fine.
So here's what swayed me. The IMDb reviews. They really turned my mind around.
Always reliable.
Convinced me that this was one we could watch. Also, I want to say for maybe next year, if we make it, like this podcast is still going on, we should do that weird Star Wars Christmas special, which we actually have never watched, but I know it's on like
infamously terrible Christmas holiday special.
Really fun, just to kind of like laugh at and tear
I also
apart.
want to do the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Duh. Okay, I
you
keep seeing so many memes about that, or like Instagram posts about it.
Maybe we should watch it tomorrow and then do a bonus podcast.
We could. Oh my God, Jimmy would flip out. He loves that movie so much. I just want to pat myself on the back and let everybody know that I read the actual Christmas Carol this year for my Christmas book.
Wow, it's such a long book too. It's like a really good accomplishment. I know.
No,
I
just saw a meme
it's like
that
a novella.
said it was a long book, and someone was like, "It's not long at all. It's 100 pages. It's really short, and it goes really fast." I read it in like maybe 2 days. Clearly that person had never, you think Charles Dickens and you think, oh my God, doorstop, but it really is short.
I just like, are they ever going to stop making that movie?
Know.
Like, I'm over it. Did you see that other ad on Prime that was like the story of Christmas, and it's like 3 ghosts in the background?
Yeah.
Oh no, The Man Who Invented Christmas it's called. But it's like, is this just a Christmas Carol?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, we get it.
Get a new idea.
We get it. The guy has a bad life, and then he, faces his own mortality and decides, hey, like life's pretty good. Let's cheer up. Like we get it.
Yeah, skip the remakes. Just rewatch Scrooged, and you're fine.
I know. I do have
or
to watch
Muppet
that.
Christmas Carol.
We should watch that tomorrow.
So yeah.
So anyway, I decided like, hey, let's give Ernest another shot. And you know what? I'm glad we did, because I actually really enjoyed this today. I watched it this morning. I had the day off today, and I gave Sweetie Jr. her tablet and said, go watch Frozen 2. And I watched Ernest Saves Christmas, and it was delightful. I really liked it.
We didn't do I don't think we even announced it the way that we usually do.
God.
But Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah.
I remember the box cover of this, and I think I confused it maybe with Christmas Vacation cover, because it's like, is he also kind of like wrapped up in Christmas lights in that cover?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a little confusing.
Yep.
So maybe as a child I mixed those up. But yeah, as we said during Ernest Scared Stupid, we never watched Ernest. It was not one of our family things, movies, whatever. It just wasn't our bag, baby. It wasn't our bag. But I agree with Sweetie. This was cute.
It was really cute-ish.
Cute-ish.
And, the big complaint we had about the Ernest Scared Stupid, which actually comes after this movie in the canon, if you will, This is the second one. I believe Ernest Goes to Camp is the first one.
Wow.
And it's for me has always been tough comedy route is the dumb comedy. Never liked it. Literally do not think it's funny like in the least when someone is just being stupid and you're laughing at them. And a big part of this movie I think is that they really did not lean on that really very much for the Ernest character. There were a couple scenes.
He had great ideas. He had good ideas.
He was pretty damn smart. Okay,
and he was a master improvisational.
Oh, yeah.
Comedic genius.
Oh, yeah. Totally. So I think that like made it really watchable. And then also, he's not like he is the central figure, but there's like other stuff going on in the story that makes it a little bit more heartwarming and definitely has a lot of Christmas cheer to it. So yeah, I'm so glad you liked it, sweetie, because I didn't I knew you watched it after me and I was going to text you today and be like, what did you think? But
I didn't hate it. Like there's like things that were still like what and I have like some thoughts on, but overall generally I liked it better than Prancer.
Yeah.
So I really did not like that movie because as I said, I was re-listening to that episode and I was like, this is a depressing,
really
realistic, horrible movie. And you're like, I love this movie.
That one was still like sweet to me. Okay, so Ernest Saves Christmas from 1988. So as I said, second movie in the Ernest canon after Ernest Goes to Camp, starring the one, the only Jim Varney. And you got to give that guy a lot of cred. He's like pretty much like a comedic genius. Like he really, and especially this one, like some of the like roles he played, like because he does a couple different like roles, not only Ernest, and he like gives it his all. Like I just really felt like the guy like is just like sells it and is really into no matter what character he plays in this. And I just love that guy. We watch a ton of Toy Story in this house. My daughter's obsessed
I knew
with
you were
it.
gonna say that.
And now like little Slinky Dog is like, I'm just like, oh,
I know.
yeah.
It's like all you can hear.
Yeah. Oh, just like love it. So love that guy. I just think he was so great. He has since passed. I think that raspy voice due to the cigarettes got him in the end with some lung cancer. But yeah, just love that dude. Okay. Second, okay, this made my day. I'll just say it right now. The guy who plays Santa Claus is played by Douglas Seal. Now you look at him and you're like, okay, first of all, I wasn't like that impressed with him looking wise as Santa.
Yeah, I was like, he's okay as a
okay.
Santa.
Then you start listening to him talk and you're like, wait a minute. Isn't that the Sultan from Aladdin?
Oh my God, he's so cute. He's like the sweetest voice, and like yes, I knew it as soon as I was like, I know this voice, and it only took me like a little bit. And it's funny because the Sultan is like kind of like chubby, white haired, has a like he kind of is like the Arabian Santa Claus. Yeah. And I got a kick out of that. But he was like such a good Santa. He was really sweet.
He really was. And like, yeah, great actor. Really.
He's in the club.
Total sweetie club. And glad I got to like see the face of the guy who plays. I mean, I think he has been in other things, like kind of an older actor. But oh my God, sweetie pie. Okay. Then you have Noelle Parker is like the preteen teenager. I don't know. How old is she supposed to be?
I thought, well, it was confusing because she was like, no, I thought she was like 13 or 14.
Yeah, I think
she was
so.
supposed to be.
Yeah. So she is like, the kind of classic like kid that doesn't believe in Santa gets turned around by the end. So she looked very familiar to me, and I looked up her credits, and she was in. She was Amy Fisher in one of the Amy Fisher movies that came out.
I saw that.
There were a couple different ones. Like I think Drew Barrymore was in one. I don't know. They made like so many. And then I was like, she's in like some sitcom, like one episode or something. And it said 90210. So as our resident 90210 aficionado, sweetie, I was like, what episode is she in? Thinking like she would know it immediately. But then she did get back to me and tell me it was some shoplifting one. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a shoplifting incident. Brenda got briefly swayed to the wrong side by this bad girl who was this girl. So yeah. Full circle. Yep. Great. Love it.
It tracks. You have Billy Bird. What a cool name. As I think her name's Mary Morrison. She's like the little old lady who works.
Wasn't
at
this the way you got me to
receptionist.
watch this?
Yes.
You were like, what if I told you the dangly earrings lady was in it?
Right. So she's like a reception in this. I'm pretty sure by the end, her and Santa are going to be shacking it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. That was my favorite part. I was like, yes.
But then it is the shoebox full of them dangly ones earring lady at the airport who gets convinced by Catherine O'Hara to trade up the seats on the plane so like she can take their seats. So that lady's like so sweet, so cute. And then randomly I spotted small bit part this girl, child actor. She was like in the scene where the guy who is going to be Santa Claus's replacement is like meeting like his co-stars or something. And she's one of the child actors, and her name's Lindsay Alley, and she was on the Mickey Mouse Club for all like
the new Mickey Mouse
Club? Of all 8 seasons that it ran.
What?
Yeah, look her up. You'll be like,
Gotta
wait
look
a
her
minute. Because I just like saw her face, and I was like, I know her from something, and she did have a picture like
face
in the credits. But yeah. So other than that, like not too many well-knowners. I feel like the guy who was the manager looked familiar, or like the agent, the kind of slimy agent guy.
Joseph Carruthers is in an episode of Full House when DJ and Kimmy want to do like the best senior prank ever, and then Jesse's like, well, what we did was we lifted our teacher's car onto the roof with a tow truck or whatever, crane, and they're like, whoa, can we do that? And they're like, yeah, let's do that. So they did that, and he's the principal, and he has a convertible, and they leave it on the roof, and then it starts raining, so they have to go back up there and try to like close the thing, and they get Jesse to hotwire it, and then the principal comes on the roof, and he's like, you're stealing my car, and Jesse almost gets arrested, and it's like this big moment. But yeah, that's that's the Full House episode.
Wow.
With him on it. It's called On the Roof, which is funny because it's like up on the housetop, rain, like Santa on the roof. It all again full circle, spooky, weird,
spooky.
I'm just forcing pieces into the puzzle. But yeah, that's really it for Peeps.
Yeah.
Peeps in this movie.
So director was John Cherry, who directed most of these Ernest ones. Oh, look who's up! Come here, honey.
Oh no.
Here, want to be on the podcast? Okay, come here.
Wow, this is a treat. Her
come
first
here. Baby break.
Her debut.
Oh, it's
her
okay.
debut.
You don't have to plug it in. Come on. Here, come talk into this microphone. Okay. Come here. Come sit on Mama's lap over here. You want to sit here? Okay. Okay, that's all right. Okay, come here. Okay, look, Doo-Doo's right there.
Hey.
Okay, talk into the microphone. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
This is Sweetie Junior, everyone.
This is the doing.
Yeah, we're talking about movies.
Talking about movies.
What's your favorite movie?
I know. We go.
Which one? What's your favorite movie? Toy Story?
So sorry.
Yeah.
Toy Story 1?
Just say one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And who's
yeah,
your
of
favorite
course.
character in it?
I don't know.
You don't know? Is it Woody?
It's a Woody.
Yeah. Okay, keep talking in the microphone.
Are you supposed to be in bed, little lady?
What happened to bedtime?
I know.
Aw.
Okay. Can you say good talking, everybody?
You cooking, everybody?
Yeah. And I'll talk to you later?
I'll put you later.
Okay. Say bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Doo-Doo.
That was just pretty stinking cute. That was our own Sweetie Junior making her first debut, her debut on the podcast. Very exciting.
Very exciting. Finally got her to bed.
She's got a future. She's got a future in
She's got a
podcasting.
future.
Maybe
She
she can
loves
take
the mic.
over.
Yeah.
Like when you're too tired with when the second baby comes, just maybe Sweetie Junior can do it.
Yeah. Here's what you're gonna hear: a lot about Toy Story.
A lot of I don't know.
I don't know. It's like her little tick she has. It's
I
pretty
know.
funny.
It's so cute.
But she enjoyed that. But I got her to sleep, everybody,
Yay.
after just one round of wheels on the bus. So that was
Amazing.
impressive. Usually you have to do a couple different songs. And let me tell you, I'm a Pizza goes on forever.
I Am a Pizza, the song that they play in Money Pit that the pizza driver is like plays on his car. And in that episode, you talk about how, and this is like before I think you obviously met Sweet Eye Jimmy, and you were like, I want to sing that. I want to like, that's a great song for kids. Like, I hope when I have a kid, like they like the pizza song or something. And I was like, oh my God, she really manifested that.
Yeah. So
it's one of her favorites.
Okay, we'll start talking about movie in a second, but so that song I started playing to her probably like before she could even talk, and she now can like, so there's like one verse and then the next verse is in French, and she like sing the French part.
What? Oh my God.
Which is so funny. Yeah, I love that song, but it's quite a couple of verses. So anyway, good times. Okay.
Anyways, so Ernest, director, same guy.
Yep.
Not much to say there. I don't know.
Yeah, big Disney franchise. So they, after this one came out, they told the director like, we want to lock you in for like 5 Ernest pictures. And if you remember when we did Ernest Scared Stupid, there is like quite a bit of these, and they just kept like churning them out. So it was definitely like a big money maker for them. It was released the same week as Child's Play, and Child's Play was number 1. So good for Chucky. Beat out Ernest at numero dos. But I thought that was funny. And then I was like, did Child's Play come out in like Christmas time? Oh, because it was a Christmas movie. Because like he got it for Christmas.
No, or was it his birthday?
No, wasn't it Christmas?
I think it was his birthday.
No, because she's like trying to get time off and stuff, right?
Why does he make her breakfast? Oh, just because it's like, get me this doll. I made you breakfast, bitch. Anyways, so Ernest, back to Ernest.
I don't know. Anyway.
So I guess let's just jump into it, you know?
It's time for the sweet synopsis. Yeah.
Sweeties.
Burn. I still don't understand that character or what that was about.
At first I was like, oh, it's like him, because I was like, his name's Vern. And I was like, wait, no, it's not.
And it's like some bit because he appears like some other time, but like Vern seemed like pretty like straight laced, had a really nice house. I'll just say.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Didn't quite land for me.
Same.
But Ernest, does he have a last name?
Yeah. Worrell.
Oh God, terrible
Ernest
last name.
P. Worrell. Right?
Ernest P. Worrell, the World Jurl. Somebody has given this man a driver's license and a job as a cab driver. And he's like driving it like a crazy race car. He's like weaving in and out of traffic. The guy in the back seat flies out the cab into like the side of the road. He's dazed or dead. We don't know.
He was like in a coma. I'm like, what is
so
wrong
weird
with that guy?
And then he like finally gets to the airport, sticks him in like the baggage conveyor belt. Is like, bye. And then goes to pick up his next person, who is Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
And he has this, great big bag, and Ernest gets him in his cab and starts talking to him a bit. And he tells him he's Santa, and he's like, I don't know if I believe that. Ernest continues to drive poorly, almost kills Santa several times. And then they run into this Dine and Dash, Dine and Dash? That's what we call it?
Yeah.
Dasher. She's like trying to get out of for paying a meal, and then she escapes and runs into the cab and like hops in the front seat and is like not creeped out at all by the fact that she just got into a cab with like 2 stranger men. I guess because one looks like Santa Claus, so she's like, oh, this is okay, I guess. And he like eerily like knows something like things about her, and she's like, this is fine. But we find out that this is Harmony Star, not a porn name. Who is she? A member of the Jelly Belly Club? For people that don't remember, Sweetie and I joined the Jelly Belly fan club, and we made up fake names, and mine was Star Dumas. Kept the last name.
Dumas.
Sweetie was Annie.
Annie. Just, you know how I feel about the movie Annie. Love it. Love it.
Love it. She also named her fish Annie, if you recall. I do.
Tad obsessed.
Obsessed.
That's a sweet baby name. I never even thought of it.
Well, that's our friend's cat's name too. So
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't have worked.
I know you always get the pet names by accident. Anyways, so now Santa tells them that he's looking for Joseph Carruthers, local celebrity who does like a children's program or something, and he's at the Orlando Children's Museum. And he has to deliver him a very important job. So it's very important that he gets there. So they get to the museum. Santa doesn't have any real money. He has this like weird play money. And Ernest is like, what?
I'm going to explain why.
Oh, no, I kind of missed it.
Oh, okay.
Why?
So it's called
he gave
like,
all his money away.
no, it's called like fun money or something like
Oh.
that. He has like this wad of fun money and he tries to pay Ernest with it. And Ernest is like, this don't look real. And he explains that he gave Bobby Bucatini or something, I forgot what his name was, this kid a toy cash register, and he by mistake put real money into it and then took like the fake money out of it. And now he has the fake money. So this is supposed to like further prove like,
Well, have we
I'm
checked
Santa
on that
Claus.
kid? Like, how's he doing with all that money? Did
Well,
he even
apparently
know? Like,
he's doing well.
I'd like a follow-up story. But yeah, Ernest accepts it anyways because he believes that he's really Santa and he's like, does the good thing, you know. So they send him on his way. So unfortunately, he leaves his sack of toys in the cab. And so more on that later. In the meanwhile, he goes to the Orlando's Children's Museum, is like talking a little cray to Joseph Carruthers, and his agent is there because this guy's an actor, Marty Brock. His agent, and he like decides to take away Santa Claus and like arrest him. I'm kind of unclear like why
Well, it was like a
it
psychiatric
escalated to that point.
Yeah, it was like a psychiatric arrest, but then why did he end up in jail?
No, he was in jail.
Kind of shady.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know, but they just like when
I don't know. They
Yeah.
picked him up. Yeah,
kind of confusing. But did he explain to Joseph like what the deal was, or had he explained to?
he was
even-
trying to, but like the fucking agent like would not let him. He was like
Okay.
talking about a job, and like I think that's as far as he got. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ernest and Harmony are like, "What's up with this bag of toys?" The bag of toys sounded like the possessed toys in Poltergeist. Like there was like this weird like laughter and the like high pitched laughter in the bag. It was kind of
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah. It's all, I
Um,
mean, what is the deal with Santa's bag?
They're trying to,
Excuse me.
they're trying to figure it out, and they're like, "Well, if
But
he
wait.
needs
Didn't the cab get stolen? This is the part that I was like not paying attention to.
cab got stolen."
Yeah,
Oh,
like
that.
something happened with the cab and it got stolen. Because then they were like suddenly in his truck.
Well, that's because they were playing. He was being the snake, pretending to be the snake wrangler.
Oh, maybe he got fired because he accepted the fake
sorry.
money.
He
Isn't
accepted
that
the
what
fake
happened?
money
Yeah.
and then gets fired.
Okay.
And then they go to this guy Vern's house and like again
Give him
I
a
don't-
Christmas tree.
I don't. But what was the whole point of that?
I
Like,
don't
did we learn anything from that? No. Anyways, so they're like, we need to get this bag back to Santa. So they go back to the museum and they find out that he got taken away. And so they're like, let's bust out Santa. So they're gonna bust Santa out of jail.
Wait, but they did look in the bag.
No. Well, I don't think there's anything in. I don't think you can see anything.
No,
Or there was,
remember
like-
Ernest pulls out this like white light, looks like a glowing like orb, and then he's able to like conjure up any present he wants. So at first he tries to like conjure up something that Harmony would want, but he just keeps like conjuring up stuff that like he would want, and he's like, "Oh, it takes some practice." So it's kind of like showing how the magic bag works in like in a sense.
She kept just pulling out like weird toys. That's why I was like, I didn't understand why she stole it. Spoiler, because I was like, what is the point of this?
Well, she wanted
but-
like $1 million.
I know, but it didn't seem like that's how the bag worked. Okay, so they get Santa out of the jail. He's funny. He's like started a chorus of cellmates singing Christmas carols, and he's like most popular guy in the jail cell. Pretty cute. But they get him out of there, and then he tells them the story that he actually became Santa in 1889. Some German chap gave him the job. So kind of similar to the Santa Claus situation, where it's kind of like passed down to somebody else after a certain amount of time. Here, it's just that like it seems like as you get older, the magic runs out.
Yes.
Whereas in the Santa Claus, it seemed like you had to die.
Yeah.
I was worried he was gonna die at the end when he gave the power. I was like, is this the end?
No.
But it didn't seem like it.
He just retires. And this is my favorite part about this movie because I like these alternate like ways of like explaining Santa Claus or like explaining the magic or explaining like how someone could be like, because when he says how old he is, so like there's all these scenes. He comes in from a plane in the beginning from Prussia, so he has to like come through customs, and his passport says like Santa Claus, and the guy's like, "Are you kidding me?" And then he said, and then someone at another point asks like, "How old are you?" And he's like 113, and I'm like, okay, like. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, before I learned like the whole explanation of like why he's Santa and what he's doing, I was like, there's no way you're 113. I was like, you're like 1,000 years old. But then I was like, oh no, like I see what they're doing here. They're like, they're making kind of a new little like way of doing it. And I thought it was really smart. And I liked how also that, kind of just like the Santa Claus, which I was watching today, by the way. They had like all of them on starting at 7:15. I only watched like half of the first one.
I tried to convince Sweetie to do the Santa Claus 2 this month, but she was like, no, Ernest.
I wasn't in the mood. But
little did we know. Same movie, basically.
But I like the idea that like Santa Claus is like a regular person, or was a regular person, was like one of us, and then like gets the job. I kind of just like that scenario of it.
Yeah, that's cute.
Go on.
Cute. So now they have to find Joe, because if he doesn't find Joe and transfer him his Santa powers by 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve, which I guess is that today in the movie?
Yes.
At the time, yeah. Christmas will die. Like the magic of Christmas will die, basically, and so we don't want that to happen. So it's really important we get Joe to accept this job. So. Joe's stupid agent has like convinced him to do this horror movie about Christmas called Slay, S-L-A-Y.
No, Santa's Sleigh.
Santa's Sleigh. Oh, I thought it was just called Slay.
No.
And so they break into this like studio in Florida, and Santa finds him and is like appalled by this production of this horror movie that's like really making a farce of Christmas, and it's like violent and stupid. And Joe has misgivings as well. He's not very comfortable. He's obviously a children's program he's kind of like a Mr. Rogers, and so like he's like, I don't really feel comfortable with this bad language and violence. But his lawyer is like, do it anyways, do it. So at this point, freaking Harmony decides to steal the bag and make a run for it, because she's like, I need money. We don't really know her whole story. I gathered she ran away at some point and like whatever. But again, she steals this bag because she thinks she can get like money from it. But again, they show her trying to take things out of it, and she just keeps finding like ugly dolls. So does she think it's going to get better? And like, it was just like a very stupid part of this, I thought, because they just wanted like some conflict with her to make her like come back, and so I get why they were doing that, but I think they could have tried harder just to like make that I don't know, more meaty or something. But anyways, so we forgot to mention that the reindeer got waylaid in the airport, so they're like stuck there because the like weird baggage guy, whatever's break the box or something, and then the reindeer are like walking on the ceiling upside down, and they're like, when they call animal control deduces that they're flying, and I'm like, it looks like they're just stuck up there like magnets.
Why did they go up there?
I don't, because they're flying.
Practicing?
They were trying to get out, and so they flew.
Oh,
and they get to the. I don't know. It was kind of stupid. But anyways, so Ernest is going to help Santa by getting the sleigh and the reindeer to the museum or wherever they're meeting up. And he sends like his like 2 helper elves to like help Ernest to like get the reindeer back.
Well, they arrive also on
happening.
like the same flight, like from well, not the same flight, but a different flight, like from
heavily incognito.
Yeah, in like trench coats and stuff,
yep.
And then they're able to get. Where was the sleigh? Also in one of the boxes that like came on the plane.
I know it was it was small, but anyways, they get the stuff. They're like on the way out, and then Ernest like fucks up or something and gets what happened there? the car broke down or he got a flat tire or something.
Yeah, so they have all of it in this like U-Haul van, and they're gonna drive it to the museum and like rendezvous with Joe and Santa. And then those freaking tricky spikes, you know, when you're at like a parking place and they have those spikes up, and until you pay the money or whatever, like if you drive over those, you're gonna get a flat tire.
Well, it's usually that you're going the wrong way. Like it's like
or you're going the wrong way.
Like
yeah,
you can't come in that way. You have to go out that way or something.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of like when you do a rental car or something. That's like how. They
I mean they're there
to tear people from doing that. But anyway, so one of the few, like we said, dumb Ernest moments. Excuse me. And yeah, flat tire. So now they have to bust out the sled and fly with the reindeer, I guess, to the location where everyone else is.
And Ernest does not know how to fly this, but he's doing his best. And it's got all kinds of crazy gadgets on it. So in case you ever wondered, like, how does Santa get to all these places in one night? He has this like turbo super boost that is basically he can like loop around the earth like 3 times like Superman style. But they're basically like floating in space, like stuck, and he like because it's kind of a chaotic scene. But anyways, so that's happening. And then meanwhile, Harmony is at like the train station or whatever with this giant Santa bag of toys. And is like starting to have like guilt feels and like overhears this little boy like telling his sister that like Santa's not real, you dummy. And finally she like loses it and she's like, don't you tell her that, Santa is too real, this is his bag. And then she's like, wait, what have I done? And then she's like, I have to go back. And so she goes back. So then Santa's waiting at the museum. He's like pretty sure that like Joe's not gonna come. Meanwhile, Joe's like at a Hollywood meeting, whatever, with like stupid execs and his lawyer, and he's like, I don't want to do this movie. We need to change the script. And he shaved his beard. Oh, so I think Santa had gone to Joe's too, and was like tried to convince him and like told him the whole deal like in more detail. Yeah. And Joe just kind of like he didn't really believe it, and he was kind of like, I don't know if I buy this. Like I think the movie's like more of a sure bet. So he shaves off his beard that he had, and he's like instantly not as nice looking. Joe Carruthers, he's like cut very creepy and icky. But anyways, so finally Joe looks out the window and sees like a streak of light, and it's Ernest and the elves like chaotically flying in the sky, and he's like, it's him, it's Santa, he's real. He's like, all right, I'm not gonna do this movie anymore, I got a better offer. And so he leaves, gets out of there, goes to the museum. Yeah. And so finally everybody meets there, or Harmony and Joe. And then Santa's there with his new girlfriend, Mary, whatever, the dangly earrings lady. Really the MVP of this movie, I thought. Like, thank God for her, or none of this would have happened, basically. But finally, Ernest comes in with the elves in the sleigh, and then Joe finally accepts the formal offer, and he instantly turns into this Santa figure.
All old Santa has to do is shake his hand, and then suddenly he has the beard and the full suit, and he has all these magic powers. Like he knows where everybody lives, and if you've been naughty or nice, and like all that stuff. So that was kind of cool.
That's right.
And then old Santa turns into his old
Seth
self, which was
Applegate.
good old Seth Applegate.
It was like it's like the end of Sex and the City when you're like, find out Mr. Big's real name, and it's like John, and you're like, what? And this is like, really? What? He really doesn't look like a Seth. Also, like, strange. Applegate, like what? Just go. I thought they were going to be like Nick, but if he wasn't the original Santa, so I guess that makes sense. But no Kris Kringle, basically, folks.
Kris Kringle.
But Ernest gets to be his driver because Joe's a little uneasy about the sleigh and thinks that Ernest is a more professional driver, and the elves are like, no, because he was like so terrible at it. And then Harmony gets to hang out and be a helper with them too, so they get to enjoy like one cool night delivering presents, and then that's it. Merry Christmas to all, and to all good night.
All good night. And the new Santa takes over, and then I guess whenever his time is done, he'll retire and then pick somebody else. So
right,
yeah. So the end, pretty sweet. So I guess like originally I don't know if the director or whatever like wanted the new Santa to be Ernest. And like Michael Eisner of Disney was like, no, like not happening. He doesn't like really vibe with like what we think of as Santa Claus. So they like scrapped that idea and was just like, let's just have Ernest like save Santa, like save Christmas, like help him out. And like we said in the beginning, like he couldn't be as dumb because he was like really did like need to help. And then so then the dumb characters become these baggage or handlers or whatever who they have like a couple little scenes that they keep where the reindeer are, right? So we already explained this. So this and was a real comedy duo, the Chuck and Bobby duo, who's had the same agent as Jim Varney and basically the same start. So they had like were in local commercials at the time as this duo, and it's kind of like a Penn and Teller or like a Jay and Silent Bob, because like the one guy doesn't really talk or barely talks, and then the other guy is just kind of like dumb. And they like have trouble reading like the stuff in the like the packages that are coming in or the boxes that are coming in, and they're just like basically like big hick dummies. So that was like, and I guess they're in another one. I forget which one, maybe the jail one. How did you feel about them? Not needed.
Yeah, I wasn't terribly into it. They definitely kind of harken back to like why we hate Ernest movies. So I think wasn't too much of a fan there. I liked the little like Santa touches. Like there's when Santa goes to the police station when he gets booked, they take his fingerprints, and his fingerprints have little snowflakes on them. In them, and that was really cute.
Yeah.
And then like getting all like the jail people to like sing the Christmas carols was cute. I like those little touches.
And I loved like, cause he knew everything about everybody. So this is how kind of he was convincing people he was Santa. Cause for Harmony, he's like, oh, like you just don't believe in me cause I didn't bring you like a doll one year or something like that. And then for the Mary Morrison character, he was like, you haven't believed in Santa since 1935 when your sister told you, like, so he has all this like intel on everyone, which is so cute. And yeah, he was just like, such a big old sweetie. And we didn't go over this part, but he like lands at the airport and he meets this salesman. And the way Santa is talking about his job, the salesman thinks like he's in sales too. He's like, oh, like, where are you from? Like up north. And the guy's like, oh, me too. I'm from Toronto. And like, what business you in? He's like, toys. And he's like, oh yeah, like, okay. And so like Santa's just like talking roundabout about his job, and the guy, he like in the conversation asked the guy, oh, like, what do you want for Christmas? And the guy's like, well, I'd really love to see like snow. And this takes place in Orlando, which was interesting because it's probably like the most un-Christmassy place you could get. And they did it because it was Disney made, and they could like had a lot more places they could shoot and stuff down there between MGM Studios, and like they were able to like close down like one of the roads to Epcot and like use that for like the beginning scenes or something like that. But yeah, not like the most Christmassy place, right? But anyway, so the guy wishes for a white Christmas, and then at the end, when Joe gets the job of Santa, and he like they're kind of testing out his magic. Santa tells him, oh, I met this guy who like all he wanted was a white Christmas, and he's like, I think I can do it. And so Joe makes it snow. So then it snows on Christmas in Orlando and makes everything just like, a little bit more magical. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, that was a nice little touch. Nice little callback to the beginning. Was my other comment. So Ernest dresses up as like some different characters and like really flexes his improv and acting chops. But so he dresses up first as this like pretend government employee person when they try to break Santa out of the jail, and they pretend that they're there because Harmony's writing a story or a report about how governments work or something.
She's the mayor's niece.
Yeah, so he's wearing like glasses and this bow tie, and he like seems very normal in comparison to the Ernest character. So that was a good one. And then he pretends to be the agent's mother. So he dresses up as this like old woman who's like, where's my son? Where is he? And it's pretty funny. And then, lastly, he pretends to be a hick snake wrangler to get onto the movie set. And they, I did like this part. He put Santa like under like a bag in the back of the truck, and he's like, "These are the snakes. Don't get anywhere near them." And you hear this like rattling noise, and then they cut to Santa like under the bags, and he's shaking an actual baby
like,
rattle,
moving hoses.
yeah, and moving around like under the
Oh
bag.
my
What a good
God.
sport!
It was. That was funny.
And that was pretty funny. And then like they let them go in, and then eventually they're like, "Hey, you the snake guy?" And then they drop off like all these real snakes, and Ernest is like, "Ah."
I love when he
Great.
goes. He's like, "I'll count them later." He like didn't want to touch him.
Yeah,
It's
pretty good.
It was really great.
But that was
yeah.
pretty good. I enjoyed those. What did you think of the elves?
I didn't understand why they cast little people who were so old.
Yeah. Well, I guess because like
very
the elves don't change, so maybe those elves are a zillion years old. Because remember in the Santa Claus, the elf, the little girl elf, is like, "I'm 2001" or something. Who made the hot chocolate like perfect because she had so much time to perfect it.
They were strange though. I mean, to me, they looked like were they in the Wizard of Oz? Like that's how old they looked. I mean, like no offense to them, they looked like very old.
Yeah.
And
was one a woman?
I think so.
And then they kept calling them fellas, and I was like confused about that for sure. Yeah, that was a weird. It was funny though that at the end when they're like, "Don't let him drive the sleigh. He's terrible." But yeah, I thought that was weird. Yeah, not much else. Oh, I forgot to mention in the plot that Harmony calls her mom at the end and decides to come home. But first she goes on this joyride with Santa.
And I guess she lives in Indiana or something, so she is quite far from home. So it was like pretty scandalous. Like she was basically like a teenage runaway, like trying to make it big.
in Orlando.
Good old.
Interesting.
Yeah, good old
Yeah.
Orlando. Go work for Disney. So this was the highest grossing Ernest film of all the 20 of them, which makes sense because it's pretty good. And in France, this was titled "Santa Claus is in Prison."
So like a second.
I know. I was like, that seems like you really couldn't say Ernest Saves Christmas in France. Like, why? That seems rude. That seems like a shot at Ernest.
Yeah. Seems wrong.
I also had a problem with, okay, there's a couple instances where they have to say all the reindeer's names. So when he's in the sled, like he says all the reindeer's names, and then that's how he like gets the sleigh going, because every one of their name like lights up a button, and he's got to like say them all, and then he starts panicking and he like starts naming all these like weird names. But I swear to God, instead of I thought it was Donner. Donner. He says Donder twice and is not corrected. Is it Donder?
So I looked this up because recently I've fallen down a rabbit hole of like 90s nostalgic accounts on Instagram. And one of them the other day was like, I just found out that it's Donder, because like he was reading an old version of the
Night Before Christmas.
not the Night Before Christmas or whatever. That book says Donder. So I looked it up, and it turns out that like they thought that was like a typographical error, but it was originally Donder, but that's like a nonsensical name or something. So at some point they changed it to like Donder, and then it's changed to Donner in like like early 1900s or something. Or something like that. So it's like it's a disputed like reindeer thing, or like some purists are like it's Donder because that's the original way that it was spelled in that poem. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and other people are like, no, it's Donner, you dummy.
Why
like
would
us.
they go with the old one first of all?
I don't know.
Second
It's
of all,
very
I
weird.
remember this from when we just did Rudolph, because in that trivia it like said there's a couple variations of like two of the reindeer names, and that was one of them, Donder
That's one of them.
or Donner.
Yeah.
But
Well, they switched it, and I guess Donner means like thunder or something in German or something, and that's why they went with that, because that seemed to make more sense to them. But Donder not as I don't know, doesn't land for me.
yeah, it doesn't land. Kind of weird. Okay. And then my last thing, question for you: whatever happened to tinsel? So
Didn't Sweet Eye Jimmy just ask you this the other day?
And then in this movie, Ernest is describing how they're going to decorate the tree, and we're going to get some tinsel and whatever. Whatever happened to tinsel?
I mean, it was a very 80s, 90s decoration,
and then they just.
I think it's
it
environmentally. I think it's a mess.
Yeah.
First of all, so I think, not to be sexist, but moms were probably sick of trying to clean that up around their house. I'm sure cats were eating it, dogs were eating it, and probably almost dying.
That's what my suggestion was. I think it's really like
it's just
huge
not
pet hazard.
It's not sustainable, and it's like, do you have to get new tinsel every year? Plus, it just looks cheesy. It's just not a good look.
It reminds me of our cousin's
I knew you were going to
tree.
say that.
I never really seen tinsel before. We weren't a tinsel family. We never did tinsel.
Yeah, never.
And then we'd go to our cousin's house, and they were a little bit older than us. They were true 80s kids in the sense that they were born in the 70s, so had a childhood in the 80s. And am I also correct? Did they have a white Christmas tree or something one year? No,
I don't think so.
Was it always real? But it just had shit ton of tinsel
Yeah,
on
it just
right?
had a lot of tinsel.
It was shit ton of tinsel, colored lights. This is all stuff our mother was very, very against. And we would just show up at the house and we'd be like, whoa, what is that tree?
It was a look. It was a look.
It was a look.
But yeah, tinsel, not around anymore. I'm glad.
I wonder if you could even find it. I'm sure you could, but
I'm sure you could find it at the party store or something.
The poor tinsel manufacturers, man, someone went out of business. Someone
good.
Someone couldn't feed their families
bad
anymore.
for the environment. We don't want it. Yeah, good question. Good question.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I just came to me when you're talking about some Christmas decor. But yeah, totally sweet movie. You folks on IMDb who reviewed this were absolutely correct. And I would encourage people to seek it out. It is the only Ernest movie available on Disney Plus. I don't know what that says about the others, but as I said, this
we
was
know
a big Disney
Scared
franchise,
Stupid. It was too scary for children.
too scary for kids.
Too scary for kids.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, highly recommend this one. But I think we will say with pretty much a lot of certainty that this is the last Ernest movie that we will do.
I hope so. I'll just record that snippet and play it back to you next time.
I think we're
there's
done.
just not a lot to them. So it's they're just a little simple. But yeah, I'm glad we did it. And proved me wrong. Not terrible. And yeah, Team Ernest, I guess, for now.
Team Ernest.
Just for a second. Just for this one. Team Santa, really. Team Sultan as the Santa. But yeah, so a very happy holidays to you all. I hope you're all having a good holiday, and we'll be back into 2024, hopefully with some more movies. Sweetie's going to have a baby soon, so we might have to take another little baby hiatus.
Gotta do some baby movies. Okay, guys, it's finally time for Baby's Day Out.
Finally time for Baby's Day Out.
For
Baby Geniuses.
Baby Geniuses. Finally time for
I Blew Up the Baby.
I Blew Up the Baby. Yep. So we got some goodies.
Yeah, we got some good ones. So we'll hit that up. But thank you as always for listening. Thanks for sticking with us this year, even though we only did 20 movies or something. It's pitiful, but thank you. And you can find us on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us. Thank you as always for listening. Bye.
Bye. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Bye.